is like, because this feels like it's definitely a problem with my new internet uplink speed, right?
Yeah.
If I buy the bigger option, will that actually change anything? Because that's like the big thing for me, because the downstream rate is great. I think because I had a special deal that like with my old ISP, I had a special tariff that had like particularly high upstream relative to the downstream, and that's why it was so expensive, even though the downstream internet wasn't that expensive.
Oh, we call that business. It's like business class over here.
Yeah,
It's
no,
where. Oh,
this I don't believe has such an option. But if I get a higher like it, if I get a bigger downstream, I'll also get a bigger upstream.
yeah, yeah. Like with my plan, I get 1 gigabit down, and they say 1 gigabit up, but that's not guaranteed. If I wanted to get into streaming professionally, my best option would be to go with a business account, and then that just says, "Oh, we give you higher quality support, and we guarantee our speeds to be a minimum to
Well,
you."
like I mean, when you get like internet in Germany, they have to deliver the speeds that they say. That's legally binding. They cannot do anything less. You can like sue
Yeah,
them for quite a lot of money if they do anything less.
here they put the qualifier up to, so it's like up
Hello,
to a gigabit.
new person apparently. There's a new person here.
Yeah, hi.
Hello.
Hi.
I can't actually see your username. It only says S and then three dots because Discord is like, no, you're not allowed to see this username.
Oh God. What the fuck, Discord?
What should I? What should we call you?
Fucking give me a
Oh, fuck.
Give me a second.
Come up with your name. This is like
I don't know. There's like 3 different ways that I've abbreviated my fucking username before, and I'm trying to pick.
Let me take a peek. Super Gub?
Yeah.
There you go. All right.
Gub.
Yeah. Yeah,
Gub,
go ahead.
Super
That's
Gub.
fine.
Super Gub. I'm gonna forget this because I can't read it. That's the real problem. I have a big announcement today as to this format, the Fast Food Thursday format. Unchanged Thursdays since the dawn of time, really. I think since
The dawn of time, as we have established.
that in the new year this will change. It will still be called FFD, but it'll be on Tuesday.
Tuesdays.
Why am I doing this? That's an excellent question. There's a campaign on Thursday night.
I was gonna say. There's a yeah.
My
I
Metro
figured-
Otherscape campaign, like every other week, Thursday nights is only like that's the only time all my players can do it, and the fact of the matter is, and we could play like, we'd have like 4 hours to play, right? But I would prefer not to have to keep it to like 4 hours and then also still have to make it to my place, so I'm just moving it.
Yeah.
Could you still call it Fast Food Thursday regardless? Like,
I think
Yeah,
I might do that. Yeah, because it's I think I
In
might
fact,
call it Fast Food Thursday.
there's a magazine in Spain that's called El Jueves, the Thursday, which comes out every Wednesday.
See, El miércoles, because it's like this is what I've been told is that when you have a brand name that works, you're not supposed to change it.
Yeah.
And I'm not changing it. That's what's basically happening.
Yeah.
That's what Fox
Thursday every
did.
Tuesday.
That's what when it stopped being a hunting channel.
That's what Fox did with The Simpsons back in the 90s. It was always on Sunday nights.
Yeah.
And then they moved it to Thursday. So they just switched the format over to Simpsons on Sunday on Thursday.
It's the
So-
fast food Thursday on Tuesday. Ah, I see.
Yeah.
There's a bit of food coming in for me, is what I'm hearing. My boyfriend has
Huh?
returned from the market of super. Because to celebrate, as a celebration of all this, we will do something very special today. After I've eaten, though, we will drink something very special today. Hello, oh, that's a lot of stuff.
Is this food approaching at
Thank you. Dude,
high
I
speed?
reckon some of this is yours, then, I guess. No? I'm supposed to eat all of this? Thank you, my love. Yeah, I should, you know what? I should probably get a plate. I'm so ill prepared for all this.
What is...
I'm also, and this is related to the other thing that we're going to do after I've eaten. I'm just hungry. It really has nothing to do with the thing that's happening after that I am eating. But for the other thing, I have also brought a spoon, which will become relevant, well, later.
Oh, awesome. Hopefully
Yeah.
someday you can get a fork.
That's kind of, honestly, I think forks are a bit bourgeois. If you know, a spoon you can...
The spoon's a very proletariat tool.
Yeah.
A fork
I
is
think-
kind of a... I mean, what's wrong with just using your hands?
Knives
You
are
got
like,
built-in
you know,
forks.
borderline. It's a sharp knife is okay, but like one of these like table knives, that's bougie.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should
Um,
just have one. You just need one good spoon and one good knife.
Or a spoon
I
with a
think-
sharp edge.
Yes.
I think you may, if you're feeling fancy, add a single chopstick.
No.
Only one, though. Yes.
I have
I'm a-
I
Yeah, please go ahead.
I was about to say I know a guy who he uses chopsticks to add ingredients while he's cooking,
Mm-hmm.
but he
Yeah.
never uses chopsticks to eat.
I'm not a big fan of chopsticks to eat.
I, however, am a big fan of chopsticks to eat.
I do it when I'm trying to look cool, or when there's nothing else.
Oh yeah, I'm the same way. I also tried to use that as a way to not to portion control, because you can't, unless you're really good at it, you can't eat a lot of food quickly with chopsticks.
No. That's fair.
So that was my justification. It's like, oh no, I'm not trying to be cool. I'm trying to do limit portion control. And it's like, that's just bullshit.
I was
Limit
completely
portion
unable to
control.
use chopsticks for years. Since early childhood, my grandma tried to teach me how to use chopsticks. My mum tried to teach me how to use chopsticks. Many people tried to teach me. But then, last year, I was at a mall and I got some, teriyaki chicken. And they only gave me chopsticks. And suddenly, through the magic of necessity, I was able to use them. And I have been able to use chopsticks ever since. Not very elegantly, mind you, but I've been able to do it. And it turns out that the way that you actually use them is nothing like anything that was ever explained to me.
Yeah.
Oh, what's
The way I learned was, my dad tried to teach me for years how to do chopsticks. I could never get a hand of them. But then I started, when I lived on my own, I started ordering from a local Chinese place. And what they did was they offered both chopsticks, but they offered where they rubber banded the chopsticks together.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how they teach to their kids to use chopsticks. And they just gave me a couple of those. And that's how I got it. I did that for like a couple times, and now I can use chopsticks pretty competently.
See, I don't think I could do it with rubber bands.
Yeah.
One time they gave me, like a couple of years ago or so, one of those, like the chopsticks with a rubber band, and I was really offended. But it was a friend. Yeah, I was sitting at his house.
Like, she
and we
looks
ordered
white.
Oh yeah, like when they did that to me, I was like, oh, thank you. I'm a big dumb white guy. Yeah, and you're like the person I should be coming to learn how to do this. So I'm fine being the big dumb white guy.
The thing is, like, I do not remember when I learned how to use chopsticks because it's been so long. Like, I think it was before I was able to form long-term memories.
That's what?
Yeah, like, I just always really liked food in general. Like, and my parents had a habit of taking me to places where they serve food from other countries. Just to sort of train my palate. It worked really well. And in one of those, like, I guess I just learned how to use chopsticks. But I do have memories from when I was like 4, where I was using chopsticks with relative proficiency. I am really good at using chopsticks now, but I've gotten better with the years.
Shout out to your parents then.
What parents? Sorry.
Well, your parents, if they took you out to eat wood.
Yeah. I mean.
Yeah, my dad was the same way. I've told this before. My dad is he's a really big fan of Korean culture and everything. So as a kid, I learned to enjoy a lot of Korean dishes and especially kimchi because I barely know anybody who likes kimchi, but
I love kimchi.
I love kimchi.
A huge problem is that a lot of the kimchi you can buy at the supermarket is kind of like mid to trash.
Yeah.
Really, really good kimchi. You got to go to like a place or make it yourself, and it's a whole different dish.
Yeah, we had to make my dad. We had to make my dad because he makes his own kimchi, and he had to get a separate, smaller refrigerator because the smell would like seep into like our milk and cheese and stuff. So he had to get. That actually would be pretty good.
I'm feeling kimchi cheese.
Yeah, but if you're not expecting this,
wait. Kimchi cheese? That is actually genius.
Right?
That actually, yeah.
There are so many
ways.
Oh,
you know, I was also thinking.
Yes.
Because I've been thinking about getting into making my own pickles.
Hell yeah!
And kimchi pickles would be. That would be tasty.
I think the kimchi brine is not only used with cabbage. In fact, I think they do that with. I'm pretty sure it's done at least with green onions.
I think so. I have to ask my dad still makes kimchi on his own. I'll have to ask him for his recipe.
Kimchi is it's like sauerkraut, right?
Like, yeah,
you buy it at the supermarket. You buy it at the supermarket. It just is not good.
No, yeah, it's like buying it's like buying sauerkraut at the supermarket. It's just not going to be as good.
You can get away with that in German supermarkets, but that's basically it.
Yeah, and maybe like if you're doing like an Oktoberfest, sauerkraut on brats, you could probably get away with it there, but in like just regular dishes, not really.
So, Super Gub, now with the full name. Who are you and what has brought you here?
Well, I'm just
Who is your
mostly
dad
I'm just
and
here
what does he
because
do?
I finally got the day off from work on Thursday for once.
Oh, nice.
Because, fucking.
So you've
And
been
here
around for a while, and as I understand it, then. You've been around for a while, then.
Yeah, I think I was here once. I was, in fact, on this once, like, ages ago. That one time you did, like, just give all patrons access to this for, like, Christmas or whatever, like, a couple of years ago.
Damn.
Oh yeah.
So you shit, man. I'm sorry that I don't know you. You're like a longtime fan, then.
Yeah, but I'm mostly just a lurker. I post very much. Never have in any of the Discord servers I'm in, except for like 2.
Well, does Tuesday work better for you as a day?
I mean, I work in the school system, so like during the summer I might wind up showing up more often, but like I don't know. I'm probably gonna like I'm probably gonna like listen to the streams on the weeks when I do have to work, but like yeah.
So hearing you work in the school system sounds like you're not a teacher, but you do work in schools.
Yeah, I am. I used to be a school bus driver, but I have switched over to being like the attendant for like the special education buses.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
That rules.
Nice.
That's a cool job, actually.
Yeah, it gives me a lot of downtime at work to just kind of fuck around on my phone because I live fucking in Alaska and it's
oh god,
a lot of the stops are very remote from like where we've got like it takes us sometimes it takes us like half an hour to get from where the buses are parked, like the bus barn at the start of the day, just to get to our first stop. It takes like half an hour for some of those runs.
Damn.
And do you guys have the full size like 70 passenger buses up there, or do you have like the smaller ones with the hoods?
We have both of those and a couple of other models that are like in between.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that always amazed me because those big buses are fucking huge, and you guys like navigate residential streets and everything with those giant buses, and you guys never hit anything. You guys pull like 3-point turns perfectly and everything. It always amazed me.
Yeah, I have had a couple of times, like I haven't like actually like hit anything, but I've had a couple of times where like the roads will get icy because snow.
Oh, and then
and it'll get like there's been a couple times where I've had some close calls, but
Oh, have you ever had it? Because I remember there's a couple times where the school bus like got stuck in the snow, and the driver was like, "Okay, everybody, get to the back and start jumping to unstuck the."
Yeah, I don't think I've ever gotten stuck with students on board, but I have gotten stuck a couple of times.
Yeah, that was always a lot of fun because it's like, hey, you can go and just go fuck around in the back for like a couple minutes while the bus gets itself out of the snow.
Yep.
It's that's like a very honorable profession too. Like you're doing something that's really good and noble for society. That's really fucking cool.
Yeah.
And in Alaska too, which is this is okay. This is some that has been said to me about Alaska, and I don't know if maybe. Maybe you're not going to confirm it, but I have been told about Alaska that everyone there is a horrible person who is mean for no reason to everyone they meet. But you strike me as not being that. So can you confirm?
That's actually not really true. like people do tend towards like being conservative politically. I'm not. I'm a fucking filthy commie leftist, but but people, weirdly enough, they almost like actually kind of believe in this like small government kind of thing. And like recently this year, we just had 2 ballot measures. Like we actually, like they tried to propose a ballot measure that would get rid of ranked choice voting, which we had just adopted up here, and that failed. And we also passed the other ballot measure, which like gives a yearly increase for minimum wage, like adjusted, it goes up based on inflation, and it stops workplaces from like compelling you to go to like a religious or political meeting, and also it gives us guaranteed like paid sick time off for all employers.
I mean,
so
that's pretty good.
Like
Yeah.
we voted for Trump, but weirdly like our local policies are much less bad than you would think based on that.
This is like so often the case. It's like there's the classic meme of like Florida governor, fucking Democrat, former Republican Hitler Light, and like Republican Giga Hitler, like 51% Giga Hitler, and should Florida be reconstituted as a state, as like the new Soviet Union, and all fucking private companies collectivized? 90% yes.
Yeah, because we're also one of the more unionized areas of the United States. Like, I think we've got like 20%, and the country's average is somewhere in like the teens.
Yeah.
But I think the most emblematic thing of like how Alaska is as a state is I remember I couldn't find it right now because it's not saved. I just saw this like a year and a half ago or something somewhere. It's like it's this picture of just like the state fair, which is like, it's just it's a harvest festival event basically, but it's just a big party, and it's a picture at that thing with some guy wearing a shirt that says "I love my AR-15 and my trans son."
That's pretty cool. you get that down here in South Dakota as well, in many places. But
okay,
I have a question. Is because I see videos of it every year. Is that, I forgot the name of the festival, but it's the one where you take beat up old cars and you like put a brick on the accelerator and you just let them run off a cliff?
Oh yes, I've seen footage of that. I have not been myself, but I remember seeing footage. I can't remember what it's called, but yeah, they just
yeah. Yeah, I saw some videos of that, and it just looked like the most fun ever. And in the video I saw, like there was like a sports announcer, announcing the cars coming over, and grading how well they crashed and rolled and stuff. And then you hear him yell, "Hey!" You hear him yell something like, "Hey, Jimmy! How many times have he told you to get out of that fucking tree?" And the camera pans over, and there's this drunk dude just hanging out in a pine tree.
It's time for the thing that I said earlier would happen.
It's time.
And now it will happen.
It has arrived.
Let me switch over to this. Let me also activate my webcam in here, so you all can see.
Well, I'm at work right now, so I'll just.
British public talk about.
I have to turn off the back because it's like a meme thing that I have. How do I turn this off again? I put this on like years ago. I have fucking.
Oh no. What is happening?
Yes, that's it. Change video background to none. I have most of my backgrounds that I have are actually just pictures of Cetor. Okay, I'll be back in a second.
Fuck.
I'm gonna have to lower my webcam for this. Because we're doing something special tonight. We're doing something very special tonight. This is a pint glass. Actually, can I just... I might actually... Shit. Okay. And then we pull this up a little bit. I work with video professionally, by the way, in case you weren't aware. This is a can of Guinness.
I had that one the other day.
Can of Guinness. This is a can of Monster Energy Nitro.
Oh no.
Oh no.
I have been wanting to do this ever since it came out. Ever since it came out, and I was never able to do it. Because the day it came out, they no longer had Monster Energy Nitro in my local supermarket, right? So then I found it in a different supermarket that's not my local supermarket. I know this is a riveting story. It's a riveting tale of what fucking happened. That's like half a pint, right? Let's give it a little...
About, yeah.
Yeah, because it gets broader up top. Now...
Wait, are you doing a gongster?
Yes, I'm doing a Billy Irish.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
Oh no.
I'm doing the Billy Irish.
Yeah, I just took a quick peek at the stream.
I'm scared.
Oh man.
Oh no. Oh no, that's a good Guinness. That's an expensive Guinness. It's like $2.50 a can or something like that.
I'm not scared. I just feel bad for what's gonna the aftermath.
Oh no. Oh no, that actually looks really cool.
It does, doesn't it? I love it. I have to wait another few moments for it to...
Oh my god.
So I have not figured out the trick of pouring with a spoon without it creating... Is that a hair? What the fuck is this? This is a hair. Without it foaming the fuck up. I'm not a professional barman. Even though I look like one, I honestly feel like I should be working at a bar. Yeah.
You look like the guy who serves the food at the bar.
That's a cool vibe. I can get behind that actually.
Yeah. You're not the bartender, you're the cook.
I would love to end Bart though. To be entirely honest with you, I fucking hate Bart. Well, okay, so this is, of course, we got this cool gradient, but,
Yes.
The whole point of this drink, if I just drink this now, I'll just drink Guinness, and I'll drink that. So the whole point of this drink, really, is to stir it. I just wanted to show that I could do the cool gradient.
Oh, yeah, that's the point. Yeah. I've never had Guinness and Monster together, so whatever you're...
And now it looks like a Guinness. You would never know that there was Monster
Exactly.
in there.
I had to prove.
Yeah.
Actually, the foam up here, it's like brown, and then it has a green rim around it.
Oh god. Oh, that's terrifying.
I'm scared.
Okay. Well, I think we still gotta wait a minute until this, because obviously Guinness, they have this cool canning technology that makes it foam up. This is very nice. It's like a coffee with a green rim on it. I don't think the camera has enough sort of color fidelity to actually. Oh no, it's kind of visible a little bit. Probably not on YouTube.
Yeah.
So the Guinness Draft also kind of tastes like coffee. So
that is true. That's something I don't really like about Guinness in general. That it kind of tastes like coffee.
whoa, upon ye.
I don't like coffee. I'm not a coffee drinker.
I like the taste of coffee. I don't like how coffee interacts with my biology.
Okay, let's fucking see. Let's pop this shit. Cheers.
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 That was only foam.
The
I'm sorry to say, this isn't bad.
Oh, really?
I wouldn't like call it like, I mean, good in the sense of like many things are good in my estimation. It's okay.
it does not taste like poison. I reckon.
I mean, this is what intrigued me about it, right? Originally, is that people were saying like, oh, this is sort of.
Well, I imagine if you have two very divisive flavors and you combine them, they kind of mellow each other out.
I mean, one would hope. I'm not sure that's always the case.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's people who love and hate both Guinness and Monsters, so.
I know a guy who puts. Shit! This doesn't. You have no idea what Milchschnitte is.
The milk beer.
Let me send in a picture of what Milchschnitte is, and maybe it will make more sense to you, even though I do not believe that it will.
I know what Meerschmidt means.
How would you
know
this?
I've heard the name before, but I don't know what it is.
It's this so.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We have that.
You have that?
Yeah.
Oh, in our international grocery store, we have this.
Grocery store.
I've seen them at Aldi.
I've seen people over here call it like a room temperature ice cream bar because we have ice cream.
Works like that, yeah.
Yeah, because we have ice cream sandwiches that look just like this, but obviously this is room temperature.
Anyway, he eats it with fondue and like cheese.
Oh, that's what I was about to ask.
No. And it's like, I've had it. I've had it at the fondue party, and it's not horrible, but I don't see what the big deal is about it, because it's like, oh, this is the best thing ever, though, and it's like, no, it's not. It's just edible.
It's the same. It's the same thing with apple pie with a slice of cheddar cheese here. It's like, yeah, it works, but it's not. It's neither disgusting nor is it that great. It's just different.
I mean, I think it's a bit like chips and ice cream. Like, they are not bad.
Chips
and the fact that they are not bad. Yes, my friend really likes to do that. I sort of do it sometimes when I'm.
Is this what you mean when you said that they opened up the world culinarily to you? You meant like anarchy, basically?
Okay, actually, in a way, yes. I sort
well,
of
she is from Catalonia, so
not really, a bit further south, but yeah, sort of the general Catalan sphere.
Yeah, I mean, me too. So
yeah.
Yo también.
Exactly. Exactamente.
Yeah.
But yeah, we do get a lot of we do get a lot of candy here from Germany. It's just the only thing we don't get is the Kinder Surprise.
Yeah,
and that's
illegal apparently.
Yeah, because it's non-food inside of food, and that's illegal.
I recently I went to a supermarket. This is the same supermarket where I bought this. It was the same day. There were a bunch of like Kinder products that I had never seen before in my entire life, and they were all in Italian. And I just thought I was having a stroke. It was like a whole
Kinder.
range of shit.
Yeah, Kinder's actually Italian. It's not German.
Yeah,
What?
it's a Ferrero product.
Yeah. No, Ferrero in the past like 5 or
that's
6 years, they've invested like millions of dollars to get into the U.S. market. So we're starting to get a lot of Kinder branded stuff,
Yeah.
and they seem to be pretty popular.
I mean, they are pretty good. It's got to be said, they are pretty good.
Well, it's the fact that people here for so long have been eating and being fine with Hershey chocolate, that you just bring over an everyday chocolate from Europe, and it just they bring it in and they make it here. They either make it here or they make it in Mexico, but it's the exact same recipe as a European chocolate, and it's the same price as Hershey's, but everybody's like, this is good.
Yeah, the trick I think is to not put compounds in there that make it taste like vomit. I think that's really that's the secret.
That's the secret recipe.
I would say that's
yeah. Hershey's is quickly becoming like the old person candy. Like, you don't see young people eating it.
I had a friend who was called Hershey.
was this like a trans or non-binary person?
No, that was her actual birth name.
It's a good guess, though.
Yes, it was actually. It was a really good guess.
I remember seeing Hershey's bars in all over like American television and all that, and being like, damn, these must be great because people love Hershey's bars. And then I found one in Germany and I bought it, and it was one of the most disgusting things I had ever eaten.
And
Uric acid.
See, I never understood. Like, I understand. Like, I know there's like the whatever chemical it is that tastes like vomit. But I've never been able to taste that. Like, I don't understand why they vomit.
It's a flavor that if you don't grow up with it, you notice it. It's a chemical they use because when Hershey's was first created, it was during a time where they had had to keep milk fresh, and they used that chemical.
It keeps itself shelf stable. I know that, but
and so they used it in chocolate, and while everybody else turned to refrigeration and other people stopped putting it in, Hershey's just kept putting it in because it gave it a distinctive flavor that people loved. But the only reason they ate Hershey's is because they were so cheap. Hershey's was one of the cheapest chocolates you can get, for a long time.
I paid quite a lot for the Hershey's bar that I purchased.
Yeah, and
you know what?
That's the thing is all they'd have to do is just take that out, and their chocolate would be so much better.
Speaking of like American, I was going to say a candy, but it's technically not a candy, but I would sort of, kind of consider it a candy.
9/11.
Yes, and the
Yes.
California iced tea. I would consider it candy because I remember tasting it and being really disappointed despite not having any expectations on it.
You mean Arizona iced tea?
Yes, what did I say?
California.
Did I say Arizona iced tea?
You know what? I'm a fucking Arizona iced tea apologist, actually. I don't love it, but I do like it. It's
I haven't had the tea by itself, but I do really enjoy like the iced tea lemonade drink. It's got a name, but I don't want to say it because
it's Arnold Arnold Palmer.
That shit. Some fucking controversy that I haven't even fucking read about. That fucking dude.
He's an old white guy who's famous for golfing. He probably did some that horrible stuff, but anyway, the drink is called. It's also called a 50-50. It's half iced tea, half lemonade. So that's kind of the new name is just like 50-50.
There's a book that's called whose scientific name is Hitler.
Hell yeah. I mean, they got there's so many bugs. You gotta, at some point, you're gonna arrive at Hitler if you want to name all of them.
Yeah.
If you put a random generator, eventually the name that it's gonna spit out is gonna be Hitler.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's only so many combinations of letters.
I remember there's also like a bug that, like, I think it's like one of those poop bugs that the scientists named after George Bush. That's a great big fan of that.
There's a protein. It's either a protein or some kind of molecule.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
That was named Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, I love it. It's fucking great. Yes. Yeah, and it's actually like a really important protein, and they tried to make the guy change the name several times, and the guy who gave it the name Sonic the Hedgehog just refuses to call it anything else.
Well, I think they wanted to change it because it was like they were worried about copyright issue, but Sega came in and was like, "No, go ahead and name it Sonic. We'll let you do this."
Okay, so I found they named this thing in 1937.
Yes.
And like not in a Hitler sucks way.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
that's why I figured with that bug is that they named it in honor of Hitler. That's why when you said the year, it's like, oh yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Imagine being like a random. Imagine aliens came down, found humanity, and decided, I'm going to close after the worst fucking monster or civilization has probably ever.
It's also, I love that, like, it's like Hitler Jew fucking. That's the fucking name of it? Are you serious? In Slovenian? That's insane.
A blind.
But yeah, you're not allowed to change the name ever. That's never allowed to happen, or because of like science reasons. So
I think it was allowed if it was later discovered that there was a previous species that got the same name. Then you can change it.
Yeah, I think I doubt they're gonna do that. That's gonna.
Imagine they find a different KV, so that was also good.
I mean, I hope.
Oh, this reminds me of C.M. Kozman. You know, the guy who did the All Tomorrows book that got superpower. He wrote a little story on Twitter about the Devil's Hole pupfish, which is it's located in Death Valley. And it's a specialized breed of pupfish that only lives in this one cave pond. That's about. They said it's about like 20 feet long by 10 feet wide. Like they took a picture of the fish's entire habitat in like one photo. And there's like 200 members of the species left, and it's caused huge controversy because it's a recent species. Apparently, back in the 1800s, a man-made flood happens, which caused other pools that had desert pupfish in them to wash over. And then, as the flood receded, it left this pond with the specific pupfish, and it just evolved and adapted to live in that pond because the pond has very, very low oxygen levels. So what will happen is every couple hours, the fish will just go into a torpor and just basically almost die for a couple hours and then come back to life and start breathing again. And apparently, because of that, it's a recently evolved species that happened because of a human accident.
That's
but
a
because
rapid adaptation.
Yeah, but because of that, lots of money has been going in to try to protect the species, and they've tried to breed it outside of the ponds, but they find that the fish rapidly, because the thing with desert pupfish is that they live very, very short lives. They only live like a couple months because they live in the deserts. And so they're where the water evaporates really quickly, so they live very fast, and they try to lay their eggs before everything dries up. And because of that, that's how they adapt so rapidly. So when they try to breed it outside of this particular ponds, they lose all their adaptations.
Yeah.
So this pond is the only place they're found. And a lot of people are just like, a lot of people in the area and a lot of corporations as well are like, maybe we should just let this thing die off.
Why?
And there's a big controversy. It's like, no, we should protect it, and other people are like, no, this was an accident we made, we have to reverse it, and other people are like, just kill the fucking things, we want to do mining up here. And shit like that.
Classic.
What the fuck? Both fishes, what they've done? I love them. They're actually my favorite fucking fishes starting right now.
There's a lot of species that exist specifically in like habitats that exist because of people. Like heaths, entire heaths are essentially, heaths only exist because of humans, right? And there's many species that are endemic to various heaths. So, yeah.
I mean, sort of arguing that these fishes have a lessened right to life in as part of an ecosystem because they were created by human action ignores the fact that humans are also part of an ecosystem. We are not separate beings from the planet. We also exist and relate to it in the same way that these fucking fishes.
Yeah, it's kind of it's kind of strange to me that it's like there's like humanity and nature, and it's like we are an outgrowth of nature actually. Technology is an outgrowth of nature.
Well, and it's like, this isn't the only time we've accidentally created a new species. There's like the fact that many people don't realize pigeons, like domestic doves that are pests everywhere, that we created those.
Yeah.
We domesticated them, and they were our pets, and we used them, to send messages, and we use them for meat and everything, and now we kind of rejected them as pets, so now they're pests. Yeah. But people have taken pigeons, off the street, and they adapt really well to living with humans.
Yeah, they're basically, that's their instinct, right?
Yeah, and it's the same. They're saying that they're finding changes, like there's a classic story of that moth in Great Britain, where because of all the smokestacks in the area lived in, the ones that grew dark wing, like brown and black wings, survived better than the ones with white wings. So basically, a new species evolved to be adapted to high pollution areas.
Okay, let me do the best Comtown accent.
And don't forget,
son, that movie woke. I guarantee you the person who wrote this is white as fuck. Is the whitest person you've ever seen in your entire life. That's who wrote that.
You reckon?
Yeah. Astana Angin. Shouts out to Hideo Kojima, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also to Daniel Craig. I've never heard anything bad about this guy. Fucking goes to gay clubs to meet women because men are not as toxic there, and you can just talk to people without having to fucking to wade through a sea of like small dickedness.
I'm just reminded of that Simpsons clip where Homer's at the lesbian bar, and he's like, "Wait a minute, there's something off about this lesbian bar. There's no fire exit. Enjoy your death trap, ladies."
Oh my god!
And then the two come up and they're like, "Huh, what's her problem?"
I'm not homophobic. I'm just very particular about fire safety regulations.
Yeah. Well, you gotta remember, he's the safety inspector at the nuclear power plants.
That's true, actually.
God help us all.
I mean, the nuclear power plant never like breaks down, does it?
As far as I know, all the nuclear accidents we've had have either been because of human error or a literal earthquake and tsunami hits the power plant.
That one also mainly. I mean, human error. The human error is greed.
Yeah.
Because I mean, actually, in the Fukushima people, the fucking the corporation that ran Fukushima was like 10 years before it happened. They were warned to build higher walls, and they just didn't do it.
Not only to build higher walls, but reinforce and add more redundancies to the diesel generator backups to keep the water pumps going.
Because they're like the other reactors, the other power plants that were like also caught in like sometimes higher tsunamis, they were fine because they actually in a timely fashion put in the security measures that were asked. And I mean the whole thing about Chernobyl is that they used
they did a test.
The graphite regulator. No, it was the problem that they used graphite as a regulator because it was cheaper to build a power plant that way, and it was known that this was a problem, but the Soviet Union, because it was cheaper, sort of suppressed that scientific information. This is the main problem. This is, by the way, is the real reason why energy companies were so happy to get rid of nuclear power plants is because they're expensive. Which is the same like reasoning that was used against green energy. By the way, most like anti-nuclear sentiment is actually stirred by like fossil fuel companies.
Like there's a big video coming. Sorry to interrupt you, but there's like this video from a TV show of the villain of the TV show saying that wind turbines cost so much diesel and so much oil and so much energy to produce and maintain that they're not carbon neutral. And people are taking this clip as fact and ignoring it's from a TV show where the villain is trying to talk shit about wind turbines.
It's also an absurd fucking thing to say.
Yeah, because if you actually look at the science and the reports of the return on investment for renewable energy, a 2 megawatt wind turbine, like what they use here in the States, it pays for itself in about 7.5 months.
It's also like, of course, if the only mode of energy production is non-renewables, the energy used to produce that is going to be non-renewables if you want to replace those non-renewables with renewables.
Yes.
Like,
it's the same with like electric vehicles, and
yes,
personally, fuck Tesla, but if you look at everybody else, and if you just look at the general principle of EVs, I mean, yes, there is going to be an initial cost because they're still made out of steel. You still have to mine out, the rare earth elements, and there's the manufacturing and transportation. So there is going to be an initial cost to that, but over the life of the vehicle, especially if you live in an area with renewable energy, it pays for itself over well before the life of the vehicle.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you live in some place like California, where they literally the state government will give you money to put solar panels on your house, that return on investment can be even faster.
Exactly.
You know.
This is
You know,
ultimately how renewables are now like growing a lot. It's not because like the governments are actually doing the kind of shit that they should be doing to help. It's because the engineering and like the economics of it has become so like good that
Yeah.
they are like cheaper than most fossil fuels at this point.
But have you considered that renewable energies are gay?
That's why I like them.
Yeah, that's why I like them.
There's a guy who
I mean-
probably is going to win the next election in Germany and become the chancellor. It's a conservative, and he fucking he wants to tear down wind turbines. He wants to tear them down because they're ugly. And
What the hell is it with
yeah
conservatives and just hating wind turbines?
And also he says like, oh, but they're just a transition technology anyway for fusion, so we're just gonna do fusion instead.
Fusion's not.
We have.
We're like 100 years away from fusion.
I mean, we're
being...
not 100 ways from fusion being. That's. Not
we're like probably. I mean, we're still not. I'm just gonna say we're not there yet.
We are not there
yet.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah.
Especially not in terms of energy production.
Yeah, right now fusion, if I remember correctly, uses up more energy than it.
That's actually no longer true. There have been fusion reactions, in particular reactors, that have put out more energy that was put in by like a very small
the
margin.
reactions themselves did, but in order to get them to that state, you did have to dump a bunch of energy like via a laser into it.
Yeah,
so it wasn't actually net positive energy.
The main issue is with the positive reactions as well, that they're not stable. They don't run for as long as we'd like them to. But there's been honestly, fusion is making an almost unprecedented amount of strides these past few years.
They're doing some really awesome shit, and even with fission, fission, just regular old fission energy, there's a move away from using water or heavy water as like the main cooling medium, and moving to like different forms of salts, of liquid salts that not only tolerate much higher temperatures, but are also
make the fuel much more tasty.
it's gonna make it's gonna make the fallout. It's gonna give the fallout a bit of a umami flavor when it lands on your tongue.
Correct.
And there's also the whole proposal that that Salmonella from Salmonella Academy proposed of thorium reactors.
Yeah, the thorium reactor technology is still it has a few issues logistically.
Yeah.
But the point is, we're not even if we're kind of close to fusion, to actually be able to do fusion commercially on a grand scale, no, not happening this decade. Probably not the next one either.
Yeah, and you gotta remember, even though we knew how to do fission, ever since we first did it, in Chicago with Pile 1, it took about 20 years before a commercial grade fission reactor went online.
Yeah.
And the reactors that were used before then, unfortunately, were for weapons production.
So that's
in fact, I think the Chernobyl reactor, which is the RMBK Soviet design, was initially a weapons reactor and that's part of the reason why the design itself is so unsafe, is that it was initially a weapons reactor turned into a civilian power reactor. You know, it was that's why it was also so cheap. Is because they just took an old design and just adapted it.
Yeah, so this guy wants to go back, wants to tear down the wind turbines, basically, is still what I'm... And he's probably going to win, is the problem, because he's probably going to win the election. His party is at the forefront. There's a lot of... He's been courting AFD voters. He claims that there's no way he will enter into a coalition government with the AFD, but I'm not so certain about this. And he has already promised to undo every single bit of progress that, like, 4 years of... this is the problem with German politics these past couple of years, right? We had Social Democrats and Greens and Liberals, right? And the Liberals were like the smallest fraction of the governing coalition, and they blocked their whole thing was all about not wanting anything good to happen and wanting bad things to happen instead. And this kind of killed the whole government. Because they really...
Is that what brought about the shutdown?
Yes. This is the... You know what the final straw was? The final straw was fucking Olaf Scholz wanted to... because energy prices are very high right now, especially electricity. He wanted to slash the electricity prices of every single person in Germany, right? The electricity bill at the end of the month. He wanted to use government funds to lower that. And Christian Lindner, the finance minister, the liberal guy, the chief of liberals, he was like, no, actually, we should just give that money to Intel.
What's Intel going to do with it?
Maybe build a factory, but we're not so sure. It might happen. They might do it. We should just give it to them.
Jesus.
That was the final drop in the bucket. Like it was part of a sort of bigger package deal. That's what sort of broke the government. And the media is really portraying it as like, to be fair, most people blame Christian Lindner, like the liberals, for this, but they still perceive Scholz as weak. And they want to go back to the good old conservatives who governed for 16 years and did absolutely fucking nothing. And they want to fucking... They want to vote for the conservatives. This is the crazy thing. They all hate the conservatives. Like, nobody likes them. Even most of the people who vote for them don't like them. The head of their party is like one of the most unpopular politicians, Friedrich. Let me show you a picture of this motherfucker. You will know instantly why.
Okay. All right, let me take a peek at my phone.
Let me show you a picture of this guy. Hang on, I'm posting. No, that's the wrong guy. Who cares?
Because before the election over here, I was making... he looks... He looks like a supervillain.
He is a supervillain. In 1997, there was a motion in Parliament to ban marital rape, and he voted against it. He was like, no, I should be able to rape my wife, actually.
You know that puts you up with like Matt Gaetz and like literal Putin and Russia.
He's one of the most corrupt people in the CDU, and they And this, like, people always say, oh, like, the conservatives and the fucking social democrats are, like, basically the same and at the same level of corrupt. And, like, the conservatives have, like, several, like, they have, for every one corruption scandal with the social democrats, there's, I'm not even joking, 100 corruption scandals within the conservatives.
Yeah, I guess it's good to know that America's not the only place that has that fucking problem.
He quit the fucking Conservative Party because he didn't like that Angela Merkel became the chancellor candidate instead of him. And the like insider sources tell us that it's because she's a woman.
Of course, it's
Of course.
Yeah, scratch conservative. There's a misogynistic bigot.
Now he
Yeah.
wants to. Now he is.
You think you need to scratch them? Like there's anything on the surface above it?
But to go back to like fucking.
I mean. Sorry, I just wanted to make a little quip. Yeah, I'm wondering what his thoughts on Turkish people are.
You know, this is the classic German shit. He has now committed to like if he has a government, making the government 50-50 men and women. So even the conservatives in Europe are gay. But yeah, he was all about like, oh, we have to modernize the Conservative Party to make it more like gender, to put in gender equality. And it's like, are you fucking serious? Yeah, this fucking guy is probably gonna be the leader of the country soon, and I hate him. I hate him.
So before you threw me off track with posting literal fucking mega minds. That's who he reminds me of, is Mega Minds.
Oh my God. Mega Mind like that. Mega Mind was a pretty cool dude.
I mean, he was okay. I mean, he was against cops, which is cool.
Yeah.
At least American cops, but like, no, I was making jokes before the American election, saying like, oh, if it goes to Trump, I'm gonna use my ability and leave for Germany. And then after it actually happened, I was like, well, I'm gonna stick around here because, you know, things are going to get bad, but I still have this twinge of caring about the people I love here, and also the slight sense of patriotism that like somehow we can fucking fix this.
Yeah, honestly, America deserves so much better.
We do. A lot of people here do. Many people here do. You know, but then I see, the German government collapse, and I see this fucking douchebag, like he said, is probably going to win. And I'm like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't waste my resources. Maybe I should just stay here and try to do the best I can over here, because it's not looking good for you guys, if I'm honest.
You know what? I'm not as worried. I mean, I think you're. The Conservatives are going to go into a coalition government with the Social Democrats, and the Social Democrats are going to do absolutely nothing to temper them because they will roll over at every opportunity. There's a green guy, Robert Habeck, that I actually kind of want to be chancellor. He's a very exceptional. He is actually a very popular politician, despite the fact that here's the main problem. You might recognize this in America.
Yeah.
There's a newspaper here called Bild Zeitung.
I've heard of that newspaper.
Yeah, the worst fucking rag you can imagine. And they are constantly advertising conservative shit. They have a very, very strong conservative bend, and they lie all the time. They lie, they slander. They have very clear and definitive financial interests that are tied to political conservatism, and it's the most read newspaper in Germany.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's actually even free. I think it's free. You can get it for free. And that's one of the reasons why that's the case. It's just a literal propaganda thing, but like the people who read it, they think that it's just a normal newspaper.
That's how not so much the newspapers here. I mean, you got places like the New York Post who are an obvious far right rag. And then, but it's mostly social media and TV, where you have Fox News, you have the Blaze, or like whatever Ben Shapiro's thing, and those get treated like regular news. Like you walk into a truck stop or like a laundromat, and like Fox News is just going to be on the TV.
The really crazy thing is, to me, that apparently conservatives are clearly better at the social media game than like a lot of. I wouldn't even say left-leaning parties, like left-leaning parties, not necessarily leftists, but like left-leaning enterprises.
Yeah. Well, like the thing that makes me laugh, especially when it comes to CNN, because CNN used to be the default. That was the news that everybody went to. But for some reason, with the rise of Fox News and the rise of this new rights, somehow CNN, which was pretty straight down the middle, was perceived as moving left. And now you can walk up to basically any conservative over here. You ask them their opinion of like CNN, and they'll tell you that it's like it's fucking leftist, socialist bullshit. It's absolute garbage. Mainstream media. But when you actually watch CNN, it's still pretty middle of the road.
Yeah.
It's just the window. What's it called? The Middleton or Walton window, whatever it's called.
Overton window.
Overton window. Yeah, it's moved so far to the right that perfectly normal news organizations like CNN or in newspapers, the New York Times and like USA Today are called like leftist rags.
I mean, that was one of the primary like campaign strategies that Trump employed in 2016, right? It was all about like discrediting. Or was it 2015? Shit, I don't even remember. It was about like discrediting the actual the proper news sources as like left wing.
Yeah.
Anyone to the left of fucking Reagan is literally Stalin.
Yeah.
Well, and a lot of them hate Reagan. A lot of them don't like Reagan as well because, Reagan modeled the neocon movements, and MAGA hates neocons because neocons are all about meddling in other countries and stuff like that. Whereas the people in charge of MAGA still want to meddle in other countries, but they pretend, it's fucking smoke and mirrors and shit. God, it's so fucking stupid and dangerous. The one thing I like, that's really gotten in Trump's craw, is that his pick for like the Senate Majority Leader is not going to be one of his cronies. It's going to be this old school guy. His name is John Thune, and he's a senator from South Dakota, and he's an old school Republican. He's a fucking neocon. Personally, I can't fucking stand the guy, but he's made it his personal mission to make Trump's life a living hell.
That's pretty good. He also like the Labor pick. His Secretary of Labor pick is also like a hardline union woman. Strangely enough,
I'll have to take a look.
Many of his donors are very much against that. They have been asking the Republican Party to make sure she doesn't get confirmed in the Senate. They're very concerned about her. But Trump wants to look good to like union guys because I honestly probably genuinely thinks that he like he's good with the union guys.
Yeah, despite him literally saying, "Oh, if workers go on strike, just fire them."
Yeah.
Yeah, and
he's
also
like, "Oh, but I love unions."
Also, that 25% tariff is really going to fuck over the car companies and the auto union.
Yeah.
Because the auto industry the U.S. auto industry isn't really the U.S. auto industry. It's the North American auto industry. Because what people
Yeah,
don't
the
realize,
president of
yeah,
Mexico like wrote a letter like, "Hey, all your cars are manufactured down here, motherfuckers. Don't start a trade war with us, you idiot."
that's why I love seeing. That's why I love seeing Ram pickups and Chevy and GMC pickups with like thin blue line and trunk 2024, because those are all three of those trucks are made in Mexico.
And they paid for them.
The only U.S. branded truck that's built in the U.S. is the Ford F-150. Everything else is made in Mexico. And a lot of our SUVs are also made in Mexico and in Canada. We actually don't build that many cars here in the U.S. I think the only all-American car company here is Tesla.
Oh fuck!
God, I'm still so fucking like I'm pissed off at just how big our cars keep getting. Like every year, fucking bigger cars.
Oh
my
yeah,
God.
yeah, I've talked to my dad about this because he lives in northern Idaho. He lives up in the mountains, and he has a Ford Super Duty himself, but he actually uses it. He uses it the whole firewood and feed and feed for
Actually,
his
all
horse.
shit.
Yeah, he actually uses it. And I remember the last time I went to go visit him, we stopped at a Ford dealer, and we were walking around, and he asked me because it's like I still have my old little Chevy car, and he asked me, well, why don't you get a newer car? And it's like, because I can't find a car as small and practical as the one I own. There are no new cars that fit my needs. My only options are SUV. Are really only like my best option would be like a Subaru. Would be like a Subaru, and that's already too big for me. So it's just, yeah, it's like, why don't I buy a new car? It's like I don't have that option. And in a couple months here, the prices are going to skyrocket, and then it's like, well, then who's going to be able to afford it?
Oh yeah, I
Wow.
wonder if they if like the Trump conservatives are somehow going to manage to blame Democrats for
Wow, I
the
wonder what kind
I'm
of
horror
sure
that is
they'll
trouble
about
find
to
a way.
befall the
They
American
always
economy.
find a way.
Yeah. Well,
I
I
wonder what
did.
kind of trouble could cause hamstringing the entire automobile industry in a country that runs basically exclusively on cars.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, that's I wanted to mention this a while ago, but I love the fact that you run around working with driving working on school buses. That's one of the anomalies that really surprises me about the U.S. is that we're so anti-public transits and so pro-car, but yet we have one of the most comprehensive public transit systems to make sure we get children to school. Yet
Yeah,
you
it's
go to Europe.
basically we just give we
Oh,
give
go
like
ahead.
we give like neutered versions of good social policy to children and super old people, and everyone else
Yeah,
can go fuck themselves.
yeah, and it's like if you mention, hey, we could do this school bus thing, but we could do it for adults, and then people are like,
That's
oh fuck you, they
communism.
could just get a car. They
That's
could get
fucking
Communism.
socialism.
Yeah. But it's just so funny because I remember growing up in Germany and going to school in Germany for a few years, and there wasn't a school bus. You either walked or you took the regular city bus like everybody
Yeah,
else.
I think Most of the time when you see a school bus, it's because they are busing the school from, like, the children from the school to, like, a swimming pool or some particular facility.
It's
Yeah, and
busing.
that's like
just
an
field
actual
trips.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or like a
yeah,
field
that's like
trip, that sort of stuff.
yeah, and that's like an actual like chartered bus. It's operated by a bus company, and
I used
the school
to go on a school bus when I lived in Spain, but I lived in an extremely rural part, so there
oh yeah,
was no
and
public bus.
and I think they do have like a form of school bus like up in Scandinavia as well.
Yeah, I like for
Like
rural areas. That's kind of good for.
I was
Yeah.
sort of in a strange situation because the town I grew up in just sort of has like two separate areas that sort of count as one town, but they are not really all that connected. Like sort of like, and like it's hard to get from one to the other on foot. So when I was in primary school, I just walked there, but afterwards in high school, I did have to take a school bus. It was sort of a weird situation.
Yeah.
This is a very strange experience. Alcohol makes me sleepy, and then the energy drink makes me sort of activated, not even awake, just activated, because obviously, caffeine doesn't really work for me the way it does for the neurotypicals.
Well, that's when I used to do back in my younger years. I used to love Jaeger bombs.
Yeah.
And that would be like the same thing. It's just, and really at the end of the night, you don't feel good because it's like your heartbeat's just up there.
Yeah.
But your brain just wants to go to sleep.
In general, I've never really loved alcohol. I like the flavor of some alcoholic drinks, but like being drunk, sometimes being mildly drunk, I enjoy. But I prefer sobriety any day.
Yeah, that's something I realized because I've had trouble with being an alcoholic myself, and it's like and I actually switched programs. I moved away from AA into another program that's specifically not religious, and that's really helped me to keep going, and to meet my goals. But yeah, for me, what really made it to where I hate alcohol was using it to not feel anything.
Yeah.
To just be empty. And that's when I was like, okay, this is a problem.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I don't know. This is what happens when the conversation turns to politics. Eventually, it's just the negativity.
Well, I'm glad we were able to have a political conversation on Thanksgiving of a very American
Is it Thanksgiving
experience.
right now? Is it Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
It's Thanksgiving today. That's why I'm working because there's no traffic on the road, so I can just take it easy and take it easy while I work.
A Chinese friend of mine wished me a happy Thanksgiving a while ago, and I'm still thinking how to respond to her in a polite way, like saying we don't do that in Spain, but thank you.
Isn't Thanksgiving the number one day for like Chinese weddings in the United States? Because they're not working in the restaurants. Because Chinese restaurants there's more Chinese restaurants than like all of the top fast food chains combined in the US.
I don't know about weddings, but this is like a big sales day for Chinese restaurants.
But they don't sell turkey.
Well, if you're deep frying the turkey and you actually accidentally set the kitchen on fire, so that you ruin Thanksgiving.
Yeah, if something goes wrong, basically.
If something goes wrong, you go Chinese.
It's the same thing on Christmas too.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
I honor my Jewish ancestry by cooking at least one Chinese dish every Christmas.
Damn, what are you doing this year?
I think I'm probably doing 2 different Chinese dishes this year. I'm probably doing like candied ham.
Yeah.
And like braised pork knuckle. I was thinking that or something with duck because that's usually pretty popular in my family.
I had some fantastic fucking duck today. I was at the Christmas market in Hamburg with my boyfriend, and it was pretty fucking good. I also had strudel. Yeah, we're gonna do Christmas together, and I want to do a roast. I'm not quite sure what I'm gonna roast yet, but I want to do a roast. With Klöße.
Nice.
I do know what that is.
There's a way to. It's like a big dumpling. It's a really big dumpling.
Yes. Oh, that sounds good.
I actually, I'm more of a Knödel fan,
Yeah,
which is more like a bread dumpling. This is.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I'm a big. I knew. It was always we always called it Dampfknödel.
Dampfnudeln are sweet. That's a different thing. Though I do really like.
Okay.
Them.
Yeah. Those are the potato one. Yeah, I actually made those once now that I remember. I do like them.
They're great at like soaking up sauce and gravy and shit.
Yeah.
The red cabbage and all that. I'm a big fan of that.
And also, I experimented a bit with this. I remember I made it with shrimp inside.
Oh, that's a great idea.
And I did them with shrimp inside and fried afterwards.
Oh. God damn.
I'm gonna take off here in a minute or so, but I just want to mention a friend of mine sent me a text this morning. It was a video from King of the Hill, and it's one of my favorite clips from King of the Hill, where there's John Redcorn. You guys know the characters of King of the Hill, right?
I don't even know what King of the Hill is. I don't even know what that is.
It's an old cartoon about a Texas family.
It's actually it's really good. It's really charming and everything. Highly recommend it. But there's this one family where it's Dale and his wife and their son, and they have a family friend called John Redcorn, and he's a Native American dude. And it's very, very obvious that he fathered Dale's son with Dale's wife.
Damn.
But everybody ignores it. It's actually brought up later on about it, with Dale and everything. And they handled it really well. But for their Thanksgiving episode, his son, Dale's son and Redcorn's son asks, "Hey, Redcorn, do you go to Arizona for every Thanksgiving?" He's like, "Yep, that's where my family is." And Dale goes, "I didn't know your people celebrated Thanksgiving anymore." And John Redcorn just turns to him and is like, "We did once." And just kind of gives him that side eye.
I should probably do my yearly Thanksgiving joke then. The happy Thanksgiving to all American Indians. Enjoy the reparations you are presumably getting, because that's it's about thanking.
Yeah. So, but anyway, I'm gonna take off. It was good talking to you guys.
See you around, man. The stream isn't really long for this world anyway. We got just a minute left. So.
Yeah, but nice to meet you, Super Gub. Hopefully you come by again. So
yeah, probably for when we do our school takes their winter vacation, I'll probably be back for
Hell
like
yeah.
those 2 weeks.
Hell
Yeah, there you go.
And I'll probably
all
be
right,
like
later, guys.
watching most of the time, just not in the chat
Yeah.
or in the call.
Yeah, I think that really just is a very good note to sort of end the stream on, right? Thank you very much for watching. Remember, I'll post more announcements about this. It's not like anyone's actually watching this. In 2025, it's gonna be a Tuesday stream instead. So,
And
adios.
Adios. And suddenly it switches to Tuesday, and the audience just doubles in number. Well, it was